Another film takes on the almost impossible task of getting time travel right. Do they succeed? Looper, starring Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Emily Blunt in there as well, stars Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a time-traveling assassin who has the job of killing himself, and what happens when that goes a little bit awry. It is a mind-bendy movie from a guy named Rian Johnson who, up until this point, has made pretty clever and thinking kind of movies, but this is kind of his first foray into a real science fiction kind of avenue, a little more action in this as well for him. How does it all work out? The simple answer is, it's a pretty good movie. But there's a more complex answer to that, and a reason I came away not thinking that it was great. Let's start with the good stuff first. The acting in this movie is really, really good. Joseph Gordon-Levitt continues to show himself to be one of the greatest actors of our time. This year has been killer for him, and he's great here as well. He plays Bruce Willis's younger self, and as he does that, actually has some makeup to go along with that as well. But it's not the makeup that makes this performance great. It's the mannerisms. He has Bruce Willis down to a T. The way he breathes, the way he moves, the way he comes into a scene, the way he interacts with other people, just kind of that Bruce Willis aura. He just exudes it, and it's a really incredible, not impersonation, but an embodiment of kind of what Bruce Willis is. And I gotta say, I actually think the makeup was a little bit distracting. I think this performance would have been better without the makeup. We can buy that this guy becomes this older man. We've done it before. Actors don't have to look exactly alike. I think the makeup, because we know it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, is actually a little bit distracting. But the performance is amazing. Bruce Willis is Bruce Willis. He gets to be Bruce Willis. And that's a good thing, because he's really, really enjoyable. And Emily Blunt is great in this as well, as a character that we don't even really meet until like halfway into the movie, but she dominates it so well, and her performance is so well done up after that, that you forget that she's only in half the film. So great performances, great interaction, and the other great part is it's a really well-told story. Obviously, Rian Johnson has this amazing knack for helping us understand characters and how they develop and how relationships and what they mean, which becomes even more interesting when you're dealing with relationship with yourself, your younger self, your older self. And some of those scenes between Bruce Willis, the older self, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the younger self, are just incredibly intense and wonderfully written and wonderfully staged and just really beautiful stuff. So what didn't I like? Really, it comes down to this. Time travel is hard, and I have never, take that back, I've seen one movie get it right. That movie is 12 Monkeys. It's also starring Bruce Willis, amazingly enough. It's the only movie I've ever seen get time travel right, and Looper is no exception. It's just full of plot holes and things that don't make sense when you really stop and think about how point A gets to point B, but if point B never happens, then point A wouldn't have happened to begin with, and how is this thing that was supposed to be cause and effect is all of a sudden the effect of the cause and also the cause of the effect, and just all that stuff. And I don't think it's that the brain can't handle it. I just think that it doesn't make sense because it's not real, and that is a little distracting to me when it comes to time travel movies. Makes suspension of disbelief a little difficult for me, and so I get distracted in the film. Having said that, I'll finish by saying the last scene in this movie is beautiful. I mean that cinematography-wise, I mean that staging-wise, I mean that plot-wise, I mean that message-wise. There's this amazing message about self-sacrifice and about what it means to love and about what a mother's love really is and about how love works in inspiring others. It's really a beautiful message at the end and a beautifully shot scene. It also holds the biggest paradox of the time travel itself, so there's that as well, but it is incredible. And if that scene alone is reason to see this movie, I think you should. Other than that, if you can put the suspension of disbelief in and you can go with whatever time travel wants to throw your way, I think you might really enjoy this.